So there's this thing that happens when you're making the first season of something where you truly are just rolling down a hill on fire, and if you stay alive, that's a huge achievement. If a show comes out, that's amazing. And it did. The second season comes with so many expectations. And we did learn a lot of lessons. And the problem with learning lessons, as you know, is then you have to be accountable to those lessons. And you're not allowed to make those mistakes anymore, which is tragic. And you do feel pressure to somehow fulfill what people want, but also surprise them. You know that some people are going to like it, some people aren't going to like it. You're now a topic of discussion, whereas before you were just new and surprising. I mean, the bar for video game adaptations was pretty low. We had that going for us in season 1. Now we kind of fucked ourselves.
No, really? I mean, what makes you think that? It's not like you were doing stuff like this.
Holy shit, I'm gonna be a dad.
Fun fact about this scene, Craig Mason said that scene just popped into his head right before they shot it, so he decided that he wanted to do it. Next time, bro, maybe just stick to the script. I think that's for the best. I don't understand how you mess up that badly, especially when you have the blueprint right here, and you have the guy who literally created it right by your side, right there. Now, I don't hate everything about The Last of Us Season 2. There's actually some things that I did like. So I think I'm going to start with the positives and then move my way into the negatives. Positives being, episode 2, Through the Valley. I'm actually really, really high on that episode. There's just a handful of things I didn't like Dina being the one with Joel in his final moments. Ellie and Jesse being the ones in the smoke shop instead of Ellie and Dina. Tommy being the one running Jackson instead of Maria. And Abby revealing her motivations early on. Other than that, I'm really high on that episode. And then we have episode 6. I actually really like that episode. We see Ellie asking herself questions because she's planning on confronting Joel about what really happened with the Fireflies. And the questions she's asking herself, I genuinely like them because it's questions that I didn't even think of. And it really makes sense why Ellie didn't believe Joel.
1. If the Fireflies spotted us a mile from the hospital, how did they get surprised by an entire group of raiders? 2. If the raiders could kill all those soldiers and Marlene, and you had to carry me the whole time, how did we get away?
The only thing I don't like is them basically trying to make Joel seem like a bad guy. I mean, I guess technically he is, but all of you can't deny, if you were in Joel's position, you would have done the exact same thing, whether you have a kid or not. I'm pretty sure we could all agree on that. Now, I never expect anything to be a one-in-one copy. Obviously, they have to make things different. It's a show. But in my mind, if something works, why change it? Like, things that didn't work for me is Joel and Dina. Giving them a relationship, especially a father-daughter relationship, according to Joel, doesn't work. Because in the game, after Joel died, and Dina is so adamant to help Ellie, despite not really knowing Joel, that makes Dina 10 times more likable. But in the show, giving them a relationship and having Dina say this...
Whatever reason Joel gave those people to do what they did, he didn't deserve that.
Just to say this.
He killed Abby's father, so that's why they came. We need to go home.
You basically just made your own character contradict herself and inevitably made her unlikable. The character of Gail, honestly, don't see the need for her. And I think Joel going to therapy is honestly really dumb. But that problem for me goes into a much larger problem later. So I'm going to save that for later. The character of Jesse, I don't know why he thought it was a good idea to give Jesse some sort of ego, make himself think that he's better than everyone. And having this little feud between him and Ellie because of Dina, I hated that. Because Jesse was the kind of character whose sole purpose was
my friend's problems are my problems.
And that worked. He was likable. But again, by changes you made to these characters, you inevitably made him unlikable. Maria practically did nothing this season, which I don't like. She should have been in charge of Jackson the way she was in the game. It gave her something to do. Giving Maria and Tommy a son for no reason. He had no value to the story. And Tommy not wanting to go after the people who did that to Joel. I hate that. Hate it. I mean, Tommy said this.
If it had been you, Joel would be halfway to Seattle before the sun came up.
He'd be halfway to Seattle to save my life. But when we lost people, no. We would just break him like it was his fault. I saw that time and time again, and don't talk to me like I didn't know him. He was my brother.
No, she is gonna talk to you like you didn't know him. Because at the end of the day, when Joel went across the world from Boston to Jackson, Wyoming, Ellie was with him. She's seen everything Joel did just to make sure that you were okay, just to make sure that you were alive. You weren't even there. You weren't even talking to him. You were ignoring him. And you seriously expect Ellie to be okay with the fact that you're letting the woman who murdered your brother breathe the same air that you breathe? I hated the whole council thing because if it was me personally, I wouldn't have waited for no body. I would have went immediately. Because Ellie gets mad at Dina for not telling her that she knew the names of Abby and her crew. But yet Ellie wastes time waiting for the town of Jackson to vote whether or not they want to avenge Joel. The Ellie and Dina relationship, the whole point of the smoke shop was to set that relationship up before Joel dies. So therefore, when Joel dies and Ellie goes on a rampage, we could solely focus on that. And we don't have to explore this whole love story because that takes away from the hunt. There's even times when I was watching this episode where I told myself,
Don't get angry. You're a little crazy, and that's exciting. That's one of the reasons I love you. But I do want to make it out of here.
You love me?
now's not the time for this. Or I felt like Ellie had to be reminded that Joel was gone. Then we have a pointless scene, which is a scene that they just decided to do because apparently they were going to put it in the game, but it didn't make the final cut, so they decided to put it in the show. I know what they're doing with this scene, so potential spoilers for season 3 and spoilers for the game if you haven't played it. In the game, after we do Ellie's 3 days, we go to Abby's 3 days. During Abby's 3 days, we see subtle hints and realize how close Ellie and Abby really were to each other. In the hospital, we see the sky bridge, and as we all know, if you played the game, you know that Abby is on Haven with Lev. Now, Ellie washed up on Haven. Now, if Ellie wanted to help the Scars like she wanted to do earlier in that episode, she would have bumped into Abby. I believe that's where they were going with that scene. Do I think it was necessary? No, they could have cut it out. Alright, now moving on to my larger problems, starting with the large problem number 1, the dance scene. Once we get to the dance scene, in my opinion, it was a bittersweet kind of feeling. You know, Jesse had just died. We see that Tommy's crippled. We're still missing Joel, and we're seeing how Ellie is struggling letting go of her revenge. Then we get to see how times were simpler. We get to see Joel again. We get to see Tommy, Maria, Jesse, and see how times were simpler between her and Dina. And it's a bittersweet feeling. Then we see Ellie freak out on Joel, and we start wondering, why is she so mad at Joel, yet so adamant to avenge him? And I know it's a show. No one's gonna wait 2 to 3 years for that. I don't care. I would have put it in season 3. Now, my major problem with this season. You remember Batman vs Superman when everyone was mad that Superman practically wasn't Superman? Lex Luthor was basically if Joker and Riddler had a kid, Batman killed. This is my Batman vs Superman. This is my equivalent of making Batman kill. The port scene. This is something you do not change. You leave this for the end because by the time we get to this scene, there's so much emotion and we finally get to understand Ellie after everything that has just happened. She left Dina to pursue her revenge again, just to end up alone, which was her worst fear. And we realized that she was so adamant on killing Abby is because she finally got to a position in her life where she was able to forgive Joel, and Abby took that opportunity away from her. So by putting that in, you just take the emotion out and you just ruined it. And by revealing Abby's motivations early on, the whole point of Abby's 3 days is to understand her point of view, to sort of make her kind of likable and understand her. But by putting in this poor scene, just did irreparable damage to your 3rd season. Now I already know season 3 is going to have less viewership than season 2 did because you just ruined it. And back to my point on Joel going to therapy is dumb. During the porch scene, or even throughout the game, we kind of see how Joel's sort of more calm, chill, more mature, if you will. And that goes to show he's been working on himself. We also get a scene in the game of Joel telling Tommy what he did. Number 1, that's him trusting his brother with that kind of information, leaning on his brother's shoulders. And even after that scene, Tommy tells Joel,
about what we were talking about earlier. I can't say I'd have done different. I'll take it to the grave if I have to.
which makes Tommy likable even more. And it worked. But again, by changing Tommy, by making him not want to avenge his brother, makes him unlikable. And Ellie, in my opinion, she was too soft. She was too soft on Owen, Mel, and Nora. You have to keep in mind, Manny, Owen, Mel, and Nora, they all aimed the gun at Joel, but Abby pulled the trigger. So she should show no less mercy to those 4 because they played a part in it. So Ellie telling Nora, I'll let you go as long as you tell me where Abby is, or Ellie trying to help Mel after she finds out she's pregnant, I did not like. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a psychopath, but I wouldn't have helped her. I would have showed none of them any less mercy that I was going to show Abby. And that's why I think taking out Mel like that worked better in the game, because we see Ellie does regret it. We see her have a panic attack, and that works. We don't see her trying to help someone that basically took her dad away from her. And another thing I like this season is after Ellie tortures Nora, in the game, it shows how it affected her. Because killing someone versus torturing someone is two different things. Everyone says that, right? But in the show, I liked how it wasn't torturing Nora that bothered her so much. It was how torturing Nora didn't bother her, how easy it was, that made her unsettled. I couldn't tell you guys how excited I was for season 2 just to be so let down. And I would have made people wait for the dance scene and the porch scene and even Abby's motivations. You want to know why? Because that's called a cliffhanger and it brings people back.
I let you live. I let you live. And you wasted it.
Girl, why is you crying? And why is you screaming no, no, no like that? If she aimed the gun at me, I would have been like,
put the gun down, fight me like a man. That's right, fight me like a man. Shit, anybody can shoot somebody.
and then the moment she puts that gun down, I would have been like, what? Craig did irreparable damage to The Last of Us Season 3. Their viewership is going to be very low. And I'm even mad at Neil Druckmann for letting him butcher his creation like this. Anyways, that was my thoughts on The Last of Us Season 2. Let me know what you guys thought about it down in the comments below. Until then, I'll see you guys next week. Bye, guys.